In this video, I want to share with you how I'm going to go about tattooing this cursive style design that says suffer. If you have any questions at any point throughout this video, I encourage you to drop a comment down below. I'll do my best to assist in the best possible direction. I would consider this design right here to be a bit more advanced just because we have a lot more swirls and loops going on as opposed to standard cursive letters. So that's going to make this more of a challenge. I want to start by listing off the gear that I'm going to be using. From there, we can get right on into the technical application. So for the gear, I'm going to be using a Spirit stencil paper for the stencil, placed down on a sheet of Reelskin fake skin. I will be leaving my Amazon affiliate and other affiliate links for you in the description below so you can check out this gear on your end. I'm going to be using the MusoToku Mercury M-1 tattoo machine, and I'm also going to be using a CNC standard 5-round liner to do this tattoo right here, as I feel like I could be really accurate with my deposits using a standard 5-round liner long taper. I will be using Phantom Tattoo gloves, simple Scotch shop wipes to keep my fake skin clean, along with simple petroleum jelly to remove excess ink. So to start off, I'm going to be running at 5 volts even. If I need to adjust, I will go ahead and adjust accordingly. And then for me, what I like to do is I like to start with the area that's closest to me. So for this area, it's going to be this R portion right here and this top part. So since I am right-handed, the tattoo is best started on this side, which is going to be the end of the word, as opposed to over here. The reason why I'm starting over here is so that way when I'm working on this area, I don't have to worry about losing the rest of the stencil. This is more of a detailed design, so therefore I want to be careful and I don't want to lose this stencil early, as I want all the swoops and loops to stay there throughout the entire duration of this tattoo. That's the logic behind starting off to the right as opposed to starting traditional book reading method there, or the way that we would read a book. So I'm going to put some ointment in the area that I'm going to tattoo. I don't want to apply too much because I don't want to clog my needle. I don't want to apply too little either because I need to have the skin moisturized. So I'm going to dab some excess away, and then I'm going to be able to see where I want to identify my A and B point, which is going to be where I start. So that's going to be the first thing. I'm going to take a look at where I start, and then I'm just going to begin applying those areas. So for me, I'm going to start right around here. And I'm going to begin by bringing these motions back and forth like so. And then I'm going to be using a lot of taper outs to get really sharp pointed edges on my lines. I'm going to go ahead and dab away. I'm going to dab away. Running at a lower voltage helps me to capture the integrity of the design as cleanly as I can. Bring this swoop a little bit thicker than over here. There we go. And I'm going to kind of proceed on to the next areas. And it really is just going to be a slow, gradual process of kind of layering up these areas until we've completed this design here. So I'm going to bring this way and back around because the edge over here is a little bit bolder than where we started. I'm going to get some ointment. You're going to see me go back and apply generous amounts of ointment pretty much throughout the entire tattoo so that way I can see what I am doing.
Are you wanting to develop your tattooing skill sets? Now you can practice and develop anytime, any place with an assortment of tattooing workbooks that I've created. With these assorted tattooing workbooks, we can practice our basic lining all the way to advanced lining. We can practice shading, shading placement, dot work, textures, and more. All we are going to need is a tattoo workbook of mine. We can use a pencil, pen. We can even use a tattoo machine with a ballpoint cartridge to develop our tattooing abilities further. That means that we don't need tattoo ink, we don't need napkins or petroleum jelly to get to practicing. Simply open one of my tattooing workbooks and get going. It really is that easy. You can get your hands on one of my developmental tattooing assorted workbooks by simply clicking the links in my description or in the pinned comment section below, or navigating on over to Amazon.com, typing in Daniel Yuck, and you'll see all of the assorted tattoo workbooks that I've created come up. If you have an Amazon account, be sure to follow my Amazon author page page, as well as I would greatly appreciate your support. Should you have any questions at all, drop them in the comment section down below. I will do my best to assist you in the best possible direction. With that being said, let's get right back into this video.
I think the idea is to really take our time applying this so that way we can get the cleanest results that we possibly can yield. There we go. And dab away. Put some ointment just to make sure that the results I'm getting are clean and reading nicely. And then I can kind of continue on to these other half over here. So this bottom part of the R is going to be another part that I do next. I'm always going to go back for adequate ink flow. I need to make sure that I have adequate ink flow throughout the entire duration of this tattoo, so that way every time I apply an area it comes out as clean as I can get it. So that's my A point, and I'm going to be bringing it around this way. Like so. I'm going to go ahead and go back for some more ink. And then from here, I'm going to finish filling in this area right here with nice circular motions, and all of this is being worked off just the very tip of the needle. I'm not forcefully driving it in there. I'm also running at a very low voltage, so I can really take my time and dial in the deposits where I need them. That's the reasoning behind my choices here. I don't want to have to move too fast. There we go. And then from here, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to kind of start here and then basically identify the points that I feel would be most comfortable doing next, that feel most natural to me. So I feel like I'm going to start with this hoop of the R and then kind of build this R up right here. So to do that, I'm going to start right here. Here's my A point. I'm going to bring it around this way and then kind of just build it up here. There we go. I'm going to bring it around this way. So you can kind of see that I'm essentially sculpting and building up these areas until I've reached the results that I am looking for here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the excess to see where I am at and to see what kind of needs to be done. And it's just going to be a constant process of patience, apply, wipe, look, patience, apply, wipe, and look. And we're just going to repeat that over and over and over until we have completed our tattoo. There we go. And then from here, I'm going to navigate on over to this area over here. Now, nothing is exact. That is, you can see this area, I kind of added my own little flavor to it right here, where I bold this out just a tad little bit, not too crazy or anything like that. And then I'm going to kind of move on over here to these areas and then start connecting the R and all of that as well. So I'm going to start building up the R right here. I'm basically outlining the R, and then I'm going to go in and begin filling it all in. I'm going to go back for some more ink. I'm going to go ahead and dab away, and then begin filling in all of these areas over here using small circular motions. Since I am running at 5 volts, that's something that I have to keep mind of. I can't necessarily just kind of move faster because I want to. I have to still move slow because I'm trying to accomplish optimal saturation here. So I'm going to start and just do small circular motions and kind of make my way on up until the fill is done. And that's essentially the process. I'm going to repeat that throughout the entire thing. I essentially sculpt, I'll outline the letters and then fill them in, or just simply sculpt all of the little detailed lines around here. Bring this around this way. Wipe away, see where we are at. And then just small circular motions. And I'm making sure that when I apply these, I'm not moving too fast like this. And then I'm going to create sort of patchiness by doing that. I have to move at a steady and consistent motion. So if I come back over here, I'm kind of even this out. And then I'm just going to do small circular motions the width of this letter part right here, of this portion of the R. I'm going to do circular motions the width of that, so that way I could fill it in. And then when I'm done, dab away, put a generous amount of ointment, wipe away, and see if there's any parts that need to be filled back in. That's basically the goal here. There we go. I'm going to go back for some more ink, make sure I have adequate ink flow, and I'm going to continue building up this portion of the design. And then from here, I'm going to navigate over here. And I'm going to go back over here and then just do small circular motions to fill in this area right here. I'm going to dab away and go back for some more ink flow here. Wipe away, and then I'm going to finish this portion here. With a taper out right there. Exactly like that. And then I'm going to continue over here to this section. Move my hair here. So from here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring this around. And I'm going to loop that back into the original loop right there as cleanly as I can. Not going for perfection, I am going for the best of my ability. And then as I make mistakes, I can kind of have more information to help me adjust and resolve issues that come up. So all I can do right now is just simply try my best. And then from there, kind of adjust and accommodate accordingly to kind of find a forward progressive motion. And then from here, what I'm going to do is start this loop right here. There we go. Bring it around this way. There we go. So a series of back and forth motions. I'm going to go ahead and go over here. And then from here, I'm going to bring this around this way. And then connect it right here. And the same thing with over here. There we go. There we go. So then now I can go ahead and fill in that portion of the R since it's established, and then kind of continue with the loops and the other details there. I am going to go back for some more ink here to make sure that I have adequate ink flow. There we go. And then from here, I'm going to kind of, since I'm right here, I'm going to bring this around and apply this area right here. As cleanly as I can. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and get some more ink. And I'm going to fill in the rest of this R right here. So small circular motions. There we go. So I kind of established a boundary there, so that way it makes filling in the middle part a little bit more easier for me. Okay, so whenever you see me do little like touches like that of dots, that's because there's just a little area that I would like to add a little bit of saturation to, and I don't feel like the area is sufficient enough to kind of do circular motions, so I'll drop some dots over it to kind of fill it in. So that is the R completed, and we're essentially going to repeat this exact same process throughout the duration of the remaining part of the tattoo.
Are you needing or wanting tattoo guidance? What about 4K high quality step-by-step follow along tattoo sessions? Or maybe one-on-one tattoo support to get answers to your questions that are specifically tailored to your wants and needs as the artist? You can now become a Patreon where you will gain access to high quality 4K exclusive step-by-step follow along tattoo sessions. I will be tattooing with you in a one-on-one step-by-step manner where I will be explaining what I am doing and why every step of the way. I will also be doing this in a high-quality 4K format for your optimal viewing experience. On top of the one-on-one support and on top of the step-by-step tattoo session guidance, you will also gain access to exclusive tattoo stencils that you can download and place on your end to further develop your skill sets. I will leave a link for you in the description or in the pinned comment section below, or you can head on over to patreon.com/Daniel Yuck. When you become a Patreon, you will be getting one-on-one support where you can ask me as many questions as you'd like that are specifically tailored to your wants and needs as the artist. You will gain access to exclusive tattoo stencils that you can download and practice on your end. You'll also gain access to exclusive high-quality 4K footage where I walk you through each and every tattoo session in a one-on-one step-by-step manner where I explain all the whats and whys along the way. Become a Patreon today. Thank you for your support in advance. I greatly appreciate you.
So I want to make sure that I have adequate ink flow here. And then what I want to do is make sure I'm always looking at the reference. So the next part of this little loop-de-loop is going to come right here, and it ends right around here. So this is going to be the heaviest part of this little loop-de-loop right here. Just like so. And then from here, what I can do is fill in that little area right here. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and go back for some more ink and wipe away as well, so I can see what I am working with. And then next is going to be this E right here. So this E appears to be coming around here. And like so. That's going to be that part right there. And then right here, it looks as though we're going to be coming around this way. Bringing this around. And like so. I'm going to kind of continue building it on up. So I'm going to do the same thing. Over here, this actually comes in this way. And then we're going to same thing over here. Okay, so I filled in that portion of the E here. I'm going to wipe away, see the results. If there's anything that I need to patch up, I'm going to go ahead and do so here. I'm going to go ahead and fill in these areas the exact same way. Nothing changes. The only thing that changes is the letter that we are tattooing and maybe the direction that we're going to be applying that area in will maybe be like the only real variations. Other than that, in terms of like hand speed to voltage, needle depth, all of that will stay the same. There we go. I think it's really important for me that I always kind of wipe away and really use my eyes to the best of my ability to make sure that everything is kind of coming in as saturated as I can get it. And then from here, I do notice that this E over here has a sort of like point, and then it comes this way, so I'm just going to add that in there. There we go. And then I'm going to move on to the letter F's here. We have the E and the R done with all of those detail and loopy-loops, so the next letter that comes up is going to be this letter F right here. And we're going to approach it pretty much the same way. So I'm going to kind of identify where I'm going to start, which is going to be right around here. I'm going to taper in, bring this around this way, and around back into what we are going to pack there anyway. So from here, I'm going to come back around, taper in, and essentially what I am doing here is I'm establishing these boundaries. I'm gonna wipe away, and that's what we have right there. And then I'm also noticing there's this little detail right here. It's gonna kind of go like so. There we go. And then I'm gonna go in and fill in the rest of this F up here. There we go. I'm gonna wipe away, make sure I'm not getting any like patchy results or anything. And that's looking great right there. I'm gonna do that exact same process with the F next to it. Still running at 5 volts. Moving on to the next letter F here. I'm going back for some more ink, make sure that I have adequate ink flow. And we're gonna do the same thing here. Taper in, bring it around. And I'm essentially gonna start by establishing these boundaries here. And bring it around and in this way, like so. There we go. Okay, so I have the established boundary there, or I have the boundary established rather, and then from here, I wipe away. I'm gonna do this little detail on the F real quick. Just like so. And then from here, I'm gonna go ahead and just fill in everything, and forgive me for that. And that one is going to be the other F. If there's any other spots that I feel that need to be patched up, I'm going to go ahead and just dot them in there. And that's going to be the next F. And then from here, I can kind of begin to the U and the S and adding the remaining parts of all of these details here. So for me, I have more leeway to work this area, which is great. I'm going to do the U next, and then from there I can work all of these remaining details. So for the U, it's going to come right here. We'll bring this around this way. Like so. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and put some ointment, wipe away. Small circular motions. There we go. I'm gonna dab away. I'm gonna go back for some more ointment to make sure that I am looking at everything cleanly and getting accurate depictions of what's there. I don't want like patchy results or anything like that. And then from here, I'm gonna go back over into the next part of this U. I'm gonna start right here. I'm gonna get some ink here. There we go. And then I'm just gonna do small circular motions to fill in this U here. Just like so. I'm gonna wipe away and see what we have here. That's fantastic. I wanna add this little flick here like so. There we go. And then from here, I can begin to build the last letter S with all of the remaining details. So for the S, it is a bit tricky as there's like a lot of like details and waves going on. So I'm gonna start by doing what I see. Whenever you face areas in your designs that are really dense with detail, what you're gonna wanna do is always go to your reference to kind of start pinpointing and making sense of the stencil. And then from there, you wanna start applying what you practically see. So for me, I'm going to start right here. I'm gonna taper in. And I'm gonna bring this around this way. Like so. And then back to close it off over here. Just like that. And then I'm gonna fill this area in over here. There we go. And then from here, I'm going to begin building the S and all of the surrounding details. So from here, I'm going to start with the actual core of the S, which is going to be the main structure. It's going to be right here. Bring this around. There we go. I'm going to dab away. I'm going to basically bring this back this way. So what I'm doing is I'm establishing the boundary for the S. So that way I basically know the structure. I know the integrity of the S, and then I can go in and fill in everything in and then add all the last details. I feel like this would be the best approach here. So now I'm going to go and begin filling in the inner portion of the S. There we go. I'm going to dab away, wipe away here. I'm going to wipe away. So you kind of see the idea here. It's just a really gradual and patient process, so that way we can kind of get everything cleanly. Now I'm not picking up my pace. The pace that I started at is the pace that I'm going to finish no matter how close I get to the end of the tattoo. I'm not going to rush any portion of it because I want it all to have that consistent read. I want everything to read cleanly, and I want everything to look nice as well and consistent the way that it's meant to read. And the only way that I can actually ensure that is by taking my time and not moving too quickly. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and wipe away. And we can begin adding the surrounding details. I'm just going to fill in some other last areas here. I'm going to go for some more ink here. Wipe away. And from here we can work the rest of those details there, and that'll be it for this one. So from here, I see these are, I'm going to start doing with what I see. So whenever things get dense and complicated, as I've mentioned, it's best to simplify the approach and then just tattoo what you see. There we go. I'm going to dab away. I'm going to get some ointment and wipe away, and I'm going to do that again. So here we go. Bring this around this way. And this way here, just kind of connect it there. And I'm going to do small circular motions here. There we go. I'm going to wipe away, make sure I put a generous amount of ointment, dab away, and there we go. Okay, so from here I'm going to go on to the next portion of the details. So the next portion of this design is going to be this area of the S. So from here, this loop-de-loop area is going to come from the S right here. It's going to kind of loop around that way. So I've identified my next section, which I will begin applying here. So here we go. I'm going to kind of bring it in this way. Bring it around. Bring it around this way. Loop it this way. And one last time this way. There we go. And then there's just a couple of like different line weight variances that we'll need to add here. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm establishing the line weights and getting this sculpted the way that I like here. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe away. There we go. And then from here, these are just gonna add, I'm gonna add just these last two little details. So this one is gonna be from over here, running into the S this way. So here is the edge, and that part has to be sculpted a little bit bigger. And the end will be right here going into the S. Dab away. There we go. Okay, so there we go. I'm gonna get some ointment, place it on there, make sure I put a generous amount so that way I can see what I am working with. And now I'm gonna do the last portion of the S, which is just this little loop right here. And this essentially goes into the S, like so. I'm just gonna fluctuate the line weight a little bit. There we go. Okay, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and apply a generous amount of ointment to the entire design. See if there's anything that I missed, if there's any final details that I need to add, or if there's anything else that I need to kind of patch in, more saturation. You get the idea. I'm going to do that now. Here are the final results. I do feel like it reads nice. It came out clean. I do feel like I followed the stencil as closely as I possibly could, and I yielded good results. This is the final product. This is what I am working with. Now, I do hope that you can take something from this video and apply it to your workflow to immediately see results on your end. If you have any questions, please, I encourage you to drop a comment down below. I'll do my absolute best to assist you in the best possible direction. If you found this video helpful and enjoy my content, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and giving this video a thumbs up, as I will be bringing more content like this for you. With that being said, I thank you for your time and I appreciate you watching. Have a great day.